Welcome back to the course of Deep Learning Architecture. We are now moving into Section 3, and Section 3 has Fundamentals of Deep Learning Architectures. In this section, we are going to take a look at components of deep architecture, set up deep architecture and align with outputs of deep learning, set up data sets for deep learning with sample data sets, and steps to build learning platform. Now let's look at components of deep architecture. In this video, we are going to take a look at components of deep learning and architectural considerations. Components of deep learning architecture. Once you look at these two pictures, you will understand that how deep architecture is in our mind. Humans organize their ideas and concepts hierarchically. Human first learn concepts and then compose them to represent more abstract ones. And similarly, when they break up solutions into multiple levels of abstraction and processing. This is how the visible units and the hidden units within the architecture comes up. You have the input layer, the output layer, and hidden layer. Now each layer has units, and when the units are grouped together, they are called as layers. Now let's look at architectural consideration. See one of this framework which shows the input image and how the pixels are getting divided by 32. Further, it has layers which has level 0 which is 8 by 8 nodes, level 1 which has 4 by 4 nodes, and level 2 which has just one node to give you an output. This is a classic example of speech detection and segmentation. Now you have tremendous amounts of data in the form of voice, and voice has separate types of layers like voice separation, feature selection. These are various forms of node. Then you run a classification and regression model on the top of it, and you will see a labeled data, unlabeled data from various web sources which will come in, and finally it gets mined into a large scale database. And that's how this formation is there. So each groups of units are actually getting organized and they are forming layers, and layers are arranged in a chain structure. Each layer is a function of the layer that preceded it. See, the word architecture refers to the overall structure of the network. So it defines the number of units which can define the depth of the architecture and similarly the width of the architecture. So in that we need to understand the structure of the network. Now we can only understand the structure of the network by understanding the number of units which are connected to each other, and then subsequently these units get organized into groups for identification and classification purpose, and they form whether a part of an input layer or a hidden layer or an output layer. Now most of these neural network architectures arrange these layers in a chain structure, with each layer being a function of the layer that preceded it. Summary: we learned components of deep learning architecture and the architectural considerations.